I don't think so.
Cool. All right, we're gonna get this show rolling. Bam. All right, we are back on the podcast. We got week 3, event 4 this week, joined by all the marvelous coaches, and we've got Longhorn Mike here, Texas Mike from down south.
Howdy.
Mike Avang, thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Bam. All right. Mike, we'll be picking your brain on the workout soon enough. Coaches, thank you for joining me once again on the podcast. How's everybody? Abby, let's start off with the fact that you did not redo the deadlift workout. What's going on there?
Yeah, man, you know what? So I did this workout pretty early last week, and we're talking the deadlifts and the burpees. Two of like my favorite movements, right? I was looking forward to it. I don't know why I changed my strategy, like going into it. And in the middle of the workout, I went, man, I'm totally redoing this. Well, we talked about it last week that I was planning on redoing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my body was wrecked after that. Honestly, like I haven't been sore after a workout like that in quite some time. But still I was like, okay, in my mind, I was like, I know I'm going to do better. I had a number in my head and I knew that I was going to hit it. I know that I'm absolutely capable of hitting it. And then I went in and I started warming up. It didn't feel good. And I just kept asking myself, I'm like, why am I doing this? Oh, because I can get a better number. And then I kept warming up. And then I'm like, why am I doing this? Because you are competitive. Okay, cool, yeah. And I was like, why am I doing this? I'm going to be sore for 4 more days. Like, what am I trying to prove? Is this a pride thing? Is this, okay, I want to prove it to myself? Is this hey, I want to prove it to the younger athletes because I'm 38, and in the RX division. Like, and so I really had to do, like, I did some soul searching during my warm up. And all of a sudden I was like, you know what? It's not worth it to me at this point in my life. Or maybe it was just the day or whatever, but I'm so proud of myself for not redoing it. I never thought I'd say that. Like, I don't know if all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is what the maturity is when you reach a certain point in your athletic career in CrossFit. Like, I don't know. I didn't redo it, guys, and I feel really good about it. I'm still, like, I stand by my decision. I thought about Mike, who doesn't allow redos at his gym. So so you saw that on Instagram, huh?
Oh yeah. I saw that right away.
It stuck with me for several days afterwards. Like, oh, I could have done better. I could have had a better number. I could have had a better score. And then, and at first I would get kind of upset about it, like, oh, why did I do it? And then I just would sit and think about it and really, process it and go, yeah, I could have had a better score. I might have. Yeah, I could have been higher in the rank. Okay. And just sitting and just dealing with it emotionally, I think that it was really good for me.
I like it.
Yeah.
Dang. That was powerful. I saw that. I'm like, wait, is this a trick? Like, I reread it a second time to make sure I was reading it properly.
Right.
I'm curious. The first time around, do you feel like it was a strategy thing or was it a physical thing on your first time?
It was a strategy thing. I tried something
see, that
new.
makes it even tougher to not redo it, right?
No, right? So extra props to me. But I don't know why. I tried a different technique on my burpees. In hindsight, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, but it's fine. Right? Whatever. I'm not defined by my performance in a one workout.
Especially a burpee workout.
Oh, but I love burpees, guys, especially lateral burpees. But honestly, okay, so it threw me off. And Bullet Point always likes to do this, right, where they throw in something unique with the standards. So not having that 2-foot takeoff threw me off.
I took good advantage.
Oh, threw me off. So.
What were you going to say, Mike?
Of everyone else?
Abby, is that what you changed on your the first time?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
What did you change on the burpees?
I don't want to talk about it. Okay, I have a video. I'm not posting it. Just nobody needs to know. Okay, I'll be very honest. Full disclosure. So I came in and one of my coaches. Now, granted, she's much shorter than I am. She's like 5 foot, right? And she's like, Abby, you don't have to do the 2 foot takeoff. I'm like, yeah, I know. I plan on doing the hop. And then we're goofing around with plank burpees. Have you ever done plank burpee before?
No.
Good, don't.
Should I Google it so everyone sees?
I'm pretty sure it's like not a thing. I'm pretty sure we invented it.
I don't even know what a plank burpee is.
I have never heard that.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Explain it.
So literally, like, I went into a burpee and then I never stood up. I just
hop over it.
I literally like walked my hands and legs over it.
Oh, gotcha.
Which for me, I was like, and we did talk about it, and she was right. She's like, it's going to keep your heart rate down. But through the first round, I was like, man, I was so taxed. Like my chest, my triceps, everything was so taxed, and it does affect the deadlift. So hindsight, it was silly. And then I also had to kick up my leg to get over the bumper plate,
Mm-hmm.
And so my legs were, even more my hamstring and my glutes. So it was a double whammy on my posterior because you had to pick that leg up over. Well, she's a little thing. And so she would have no problem doing that with her height. So honestly, like it probably would have been great for her, just not great for me. But I'm glad I tried it. Like it was fun. It was fun in the moment.
There you go.
Hey, right? In the sport of CrossFit, we talk about always trying new sports. And so plank burpees, that's your thing. I can make this into a challenge, guys. Do it, James.
Tried that the first year too, but the video looked like, no, I didn't. Somebody else did. They submitted a video and I watched it and it just literally looked like they were crying, crawling over the body.
Yeah. So then I did change it. So I only did that for the first round, and I was like, I know my body well enough, and I know myself as an athlete. I'm like, this isn't sustainable, and this is going to affect me in the long run. But then I panicked. So then I was trying to go too fast on the burpees rather than do a step over on the burpees. And then my heart rate spiked, and then you only have that minute. And so it was just a crash and burn, guys. So that's why, like, I look at that score that was submitted, and I just go, oh, it still kind of stings a little bit. It still stings a little bit. But, right, I mean, that's what everybody has to deal with, so.
Definitely. Fair enough. Lessons learned.
Yeah.
No, if you're a taller athlete, no plank burpees over the bar. Is this the coach that's in that picture? Like, you're dying and she's
drinking her shaker. Yeah. Yeah, she's like, oh, I suckered her into it.
Yeah, she's like, ha, ha, ha. I love it.
Yes.
Fair enough. James, what are your thoughts on not having the redone or the redo?
Well, I told you last week, the first time it came out, I did it 3 times, and that was completely unnecessary. I think a couple people in my gym did it, but for the most part, they all did a one and done. Yeah, this one's just, Abby's right. It really just does wreck you. And if your strategy wasn't right the first time, it may have been your last time on this one. Just, it's so much posterior chain, so much. So I would have left it alone. And I did. I did the workout on a Tuesday morning at 5:30 a.m. and I didn't look back. But I'm not entering the score either. So I do have that advantage.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I did it on last Thursday after, Thursday in the afternoon. And I was doing 205, 155, 125, and 95. And I said the 95 is going to be a piece of cake. And I felt as heavy as the fucking 205. I didn't think that I had to check back on the weights to see if I took all the weight off. And when I looked, it was 95. I was like, damn.
And did it make you as sore and as pain-filled as you thought it would?
I don't have much feeling on my bottom half, so I think that was a big plus. But I did feel it on my back.
Yeah, I remember you saying you're like, yeah, I'm planning. This is going to be like the last thing I do for the day because I know my back is going to be wrecked.
Yeah, nothing else I did.
Good strategy to have going into it.
Yeah.
Mike, what about yourself?
I assume you mean Longhorn Mike.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Apologies. Texas Mike.
Yeah, sure. Man, so I've got an old injury in my lower back from many years ago from the Marine Corps. So anytime I see heavy deadlifts and workout, I'm always like, oh boy. And 315, especially for me, is very challenging. So I was even, but I'd registered already for RX. And I was like, well, okay, the point here is to challenge myself, do things that I don't normally like to do. So I'm just going to go for it. If I feel like I'm going to hurt myself, obviously, that's life, and I'll stop. So, yeah, I set a goal of just getting to.
I'm going to interrupt you just to
Yeah.
preface this. I don't think I did this in the beginning. Longhorn Mike is our resident Gen Pop athlete. So the rest of us, our coaches, have coached. We've always got the little voice in the back of our heads thinking about longevity, sustainability, what's actually healthy. Longhorn Mike here does not have that voice. He is a fitness junkie, an endurance junkie, and someone who loves chasing the intensity dragon. So,
Yeah.
knowing that, back to Texas Mike's story.
That's a great way to put it. Intensity dragon. I've never heard that before, and I love it. But yeah, I just like to try interesting things. So I've done a lot of different stuff. Never really been fantastic at any of it, but I just love doing it. So yeah, so the 315 was going to be really, really tough. And so I just set a goal to get through one round in that 2 minutes. And if I can do that, I'm counting it a major victory. So I did some deadlifting throughout the week. I was pretty sure I'd be able to hit 315, hoping a little adrenaline boost would help me out. And sure enough, I made it through that and even had a couple seconds left for one more rep. So I did one round plus one, the first series in that 2 minutes. So that was awesome for me. And then it was really terrible after that. In fact, I've got a still because I videoed the workout for verification, and I have a still of the last set at 135, so I can echo what George and Mike said about the 95. That you think, even when you're fatigued, 135, you're like, all right, slow and controlled, stay tight, and man, it just fell apart. I'm used to getting sort of a second wind, maybe a little adrenaline boost after you get fatigued, and it just wasn't there. So you can ask my coach, who's nice enough to let me do the workouts at CrossFit Liberty Hill down here in Texas. I just started screaming. I was just like, because it was that or just stop moving entirely. Like there's only two options left. So I was just like, pulling up 135. So needless to say, I also did not redo, and nor do I plan to redo. But typical of Bullet Point, it was a really good challenge for me. I had a lot of fun doing it.
Well,
Did you do it back in 2017?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and back then I remember, what was the heavy? Was it 275?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Because back then, even that weight was really hard for me. So, yeah, it was fun. I'm counting it a win.
Win. Were you cocky in the beginning of the workout like you were for It's a Trap?
Yeah, this one, I knew the heavy deadlift was going to be really hard for me, so I was definitely reserved on this one.
There you go.
But for the previous workout, those dumbbell thrusters felt really easy at first, and then so I was like, oh yes, I'm gonna crush it. This is gonna be awesome. Finally, get to feel good about a workout. Sweet. And then I attacked the row, and that got my heart rate way high. And then the lactic acid started to set in my legs. And then Will got to witness me unravel on that one too.
Oh, it was glorious. I got some pictures of you dying in that workout. Well, we
Yeah.
started just like chit-chatting back and forth, and he was talking like just trash about the workout, how he was going to crush it. And then he got really quiet,
Yeah.
and then he started talking to the rower, and then he started mumbling stuff while he was going to pick up his dumbbell.
Dude, it really is a trap. It's such a trap. John knows what he's doing. I swear to God.
James, is that one of your workouts? It's a trap?
No.
No.
I can't. We collaborate on a lot of the stuff.
Oh,
you know?
for sure. He bounces a lot of torture off you,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
throw it right back at him. Fair enough. All right. So, Mike, I think you touched on it a little bit, why you signed up for the Open, but what was your motivation?
Oh,
And why RX? Because you were intermediate last year.
yeah. Yep. That's a good question. Well, like, you just got a lot going on in life. Moved to Texas, working on a new job. We've got a 15-month-old with a second one on the way. And there's just a lot going on. And I've always just loved training, especially since the Marine Corps. And if I like when the bullet point comes around every year, because it's just kind of a nice benchmark that's right there at the beginning of the year. And so especially this past year, because I finally made some changes about just like taking better care of myself, especially with like diet, because I used to just smash food, any kind of food, whatever I wanted, whenever. So I've actually improved my diet a little bit. I felt like I was getting a little fitter. And so I was like, oh, this is definitely going to be a great year to do this again. And looked at some of the standards from past years, and I thought, you know what? I think maybe I could give RX a try. And then, I really just I just love getting that consistent feedback, that measurement. Because otherwise, you kind of go to a WOD whenever you can, you smash it as hard as you can. You're like, oh yeah, I think I'm probably fit, which is not necessarily the case. And the Open is also great for that, but I really like the programming at Bullet Point. So if you're collaborating, that's awesome. I think the workouts are really interesting. I love the little twists on the standards. I think it makes Bullet Point a really unique competition. So it's fun, challenging, measurement.
Solid. I like it. Any of the other coaches? You got anything you want to throw at Mike?
I'm glad you're eating better.
Thanks, man. Yeah, me too. It only took me until I was 35, but I'm getting there.
I've still got 40-year-old clients. Food log. It's like
Yeah.
Gatorade, slice of pizza before the workout, or I didn't eat anything, and then I went to Panda Express, came to the gym. Like, what? You wonder why you feel like trash right now? So you're doing fine. You're doing all right. I've got an 80-year-old client though. He is an absolute machine. It's like bowl of fruit, 2 eggs, coffee or tea every morning, bowl of oatmeal. Like I don't understand. He's just a tiny little thing, but he shovels food away before he trains, and it's fantastic.
That's impressive.
He also has an amazing wife though. He wouldn't survive a week without her. So I'm pretty sure she does all the meal prep for them. Next up, Abby, in school, doing the work thing, the kids. How's that going? Day 2.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I decided, 38 years old, might as well finish up my business degree that I started, 10 years ago, I think.
There you go.
And then family and life kind of got in the way. So yeah, it's gonna, these next 2 weeks I'm gonna have to figure out, schedule and what life looks like. And, it looks like, my own personal workout times are going to be changing, times that I dedicate to the, to be at the box and, help my coaches and, help the members. We're going to adapt like anything in life. Right. So It's gonna be great. Pray for me.
It's gonna be great. We're gonna be sending you all kinds of love. How have you managed? So everybody's like, oh, I wish I was worked at a gym. It'd be so easy to work out, all the time. So we've all heard that. We know it's not true.
Yeah.
What's your strategy for separating that so you still have that that me time to get your training in, to kind of unplug and refresh the batteries?
I mean, my honest answer is I have really lowered my expectations. I mean, I know that when I go into the gym, it's not about me all the time, right? When I go into the gym, I know that there's going to be other members there. There's going to be coaches and staff. There's going to be, towels that need to get put away or something, oh, shoot, we're running low on something and I got to go order something. I know that there's going to be distractions. And so I just have to kind of embrace it. And if I really want a dedicated workout, I will go to a class and actually tell the coach and the members, hey guys, cool, I got my member hat on today. I'm getting in a workout. But I have to be really honest. It's hard because I'm a people person. I want to help everybody. And I'm also one of those like super OCD instant gratification people, right? So when someone needs something, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it right now. And so I can't do that, for a couple months, just these past 2 days, I'm like, I send myself emails and text messages all the time, like reminder, order this, hey, reminder, tell so-and-so, whatever. So honestly, if I really feel like I need to get a workout in that I just need to put my head down, I come into my basement, and I'm very fortunate enough that I have, a lot of home equipment. So it's going to be a lot more late night workouts for me now.
Mm-hmm.
That way I can dedicate the daytime to my members and my gym, at Bark River, and my family and my schoolwork, like during the day, and then nighttime is going to be me time. So,
Nice.
I mean, that's the plan. Who knows?
Yeah. Do you have a designated space for kind of all the things? So like school Abby, work Abby, fitness Abby at home? Are they all like happening in separate locations in the house?
Yeah, pretty much. So I have 3 kids, so they get into everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have all my school stuff in this like Rubbermaid container that I could put a lid on and lock, because they will get into it. So I can carry that with me really wherever, I don't have
That's
a backpack
genius.
size. I have a Rubbermaid container.
I saw that post, your school post. I'm like, I'm going to use that going forward for clients.
Right?
The reason I asked is, especially when everything was shut down in the state and everybody was, working from home, school from home, children trying to work out, your hobbies. The area, or the reason I saw a ton of people struggling, was there wasn't that definitive separation. So
Right.
people were working and trying to, parent, and then their gym equipment was all in the same room, and there was no way they could delineate any of it. And so they would just like panic and say, screw it, not to, to do any of it. Or the fitness, the exercise component that we all know can benefit and boost the other things, was left at the wayside or whatever. So yeah, I was curious on how you were juggling all of that in your household.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, like I'm going in with kind of an outline plan, but not a real specific plan, because I gotta kind of go with the flow a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out.
James, Georgia Mike, you got anything for Abby? Questions, concerns?
You can do it. You can do it. You're going to be fine. My wife went back to school. I delivered pizzas and shuttled my kids back and forth between my parents, who would drive and pick them up, and worked night. And yeah, then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, it's done.
Yeah.
You got this. You got it.
Something that I think you should do, have timelines. Sometimes we get too involved. Well, I'm gonna do schoolwork and for an hour, and then you ended up doing it for 2 hours, and then you have to do something for the gym. Same thing. It's gonna take me 10 minutes, and before you realize it, it's like an hour in. Uh, Something that I do in here. I'm fortunate enough not to have to work. I'm retired from the army, so all we do is the gym. And but at the beginning, I was also like going pretty much balls out all the time, working out, not working out, doing things for the gym,
Mm-hmm.
and my time was spent on that. So we put a stop. So every day now we stop no later than 10:30 at night, and my day for the gym begins at 2 p.m. and that's when I go and work out, do the coaching and all that. Then we come back home, do the what do we have to do for the gym. 10:30, we're done with the gym, and then it's us time.
Yeah, that's smart to have it nice timelines like that. I like that.
I like it. Bam. All right. Yeah, Abby, we'll be rooting for you.
Woo!
I'm also gonna be highly entertained, I'm sure, by the school blogs, the on the social media. You check.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
I'll keep you guys entertained. You stay tuned.
Excellent.
What'll get really interesting is when the group work starts.
I know.
Yeah, because you're talking about scheduling. That's immediately where my mind went, because we probably spent about just as much time trying to coordinate our schedules to find times to meet and work as we did actually working.
Right.
So that's a big thing to consider going in.
James,
Batteries.
what about you with new job, coaching, fitness? Where does that all?
Yeah.
How does that all? Dad life.
Abby's right. I've lowered my expectations pretty much actually when I stopped doing the bullet point. And I think that's something we're going to talk about later is the number and where we're at. And I was running into, I would actually get like mad in my head at my members for talking to me while I was working out. They would come in, we'd have the doors open and they'd come in and warm up. And I'm like, this is my time. You're ruining my time right now. This is the only time I can do this. And that's not reality. And I took a step back. Like I needed that time. Like if they, messed up that burpee for that day, it was the end of that day. And I just had to put all that aside, gone. So now a lot of my time I've been working from home for 10 years. So I was selling industrial paint, super boring stuff. I literally talked about paint drying all day for the last 10 years. And then I just started selling rubber for Humane Rubber rec surfaces in southern Wisconsin. And it's more relative to the industry I'm in. So I can work from the gym, still work from home. But oddly enough, I can go into the office 3 days a week or 2 days if I want. And I like it. I haven't been in an office place in 10 years, and that helps with my timeline as well. So,
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's been really nice. So,
Which workouts do you typically coach?
Which workout? What do you mean?
At the gym.
Oh yeah. I'll fill in a few lunches here or there. But mainly I'm night. We have 2 night classes, and I haven't filled in. I've done a couple morning classes since I've started, but I haven't filled in a morning class in over a year. So I think we're up to 13 coaches. So I do mainly Saturdays, 3 classes on Saturdays, and then just 1 to 2 nights a week. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All the things.
All of them.
I think it's good for people to kind of hear these stories, timelines, and experiences from people that are on the other side, leading in the health and fitness industry. So
Juggling lots of hats, and yeah.
Definitely. We're gonna save expectations in the leaderboard. I want to talk about that when we wrap up the whole series next week. So we can touch on it a little bit today if anyone's got something they want to bring up or cover, so we don't forget for next week. But that'll be definitely next week's topic. We can all kind of discuss that, expectations, the leaderboard, competing, goal setting, we'll touch on that next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna join from my phone, guys. Sorry, my computer. I'm having the technical issues again.
All of the tech,
Gosh.
no worries.
It just warned me that my battery is almost dead, even though it's plugged in. So I'm gonna switch over here. Carry on.
Bill, I would say one more thing too. A lot that helped me out was my wife insisting. There's two Abby's now. That's scary. Insisting
Clone yourself.
that I eat better and I track things, not necessarily my macros. So that way, I wasn't so frustrated in the gym. And I've noticed better results doing 1 hour of fitness a day, 4 to 5 days a week, and eating better. I think I'm actually more fit than when I was trying to do 2 a days and eating all the time. So that's helped me as well. Freed up a lot of time not working out twice a day.
Yeah.
Tons.
Sounds like nutrition works.
Nutrition
Right.
is key.
Yeah.
Key.
What do you know? Nutrition is CrossFit programming.
Yes.
Anytime I hear a parent talk about nutrition, I think of Eric Cressy's post about that because he gets a bunch of people asking him. Eric Cressy, super famous baseball coach, strength and conditioning coach, but he's got one posted up where he's like, 20% of my food log is foods I pick. The other 80% are my daughter's leftover pancakes. And so all I ever think about is like the amount of food you all have to buy for your kids, and then the amount they're like, nah, I'm not hungry. They'll eat like this much, and then it sits on the plate. You're like, I spent good money on that. That is not going to waste.
Oh yeah, waffles every single morning, guys. Every single morning.
So, and I've gone to like Culver's with James before, and with all of his kids, and he's like, all right, you each get to pick like whatever, whatever thing on the menu. And I'm like, James, you're not getting it? He's like, no, there's gonna be plenty left over for me to eat.
It always is.
That's a seasoned parent right there.
Bill, it's been a while. They're getting older now. I order a bunless burger now because they eat a lot now. So yeah. I don't get a lot of scraps.
You don't get as many scraps. That was like the first time we like ate together. It was like you, John, and I, and your kids were just like everywhere, right? And I'm like, how is James still holding a conversation right now? Because I can just see your eyes. Like each eye is moving independently, and your ear, but you are still talking to us. And I'm like, this is impressive. This is very impressive.
The master of situational awareness.
So I'm sure everyone with kids listening will relate and appreciate that. So anyways, here we go. It's 8:46. We want to be respectful of everyone's time. We still gotta dive into event 4 here. So pull this up on the website.
Yeah, I just realized I could have an ulterior motive here because I really don't have any idea what my approach is going to be. So for the sake of discussion.
There you go. Pulp Minion. We had a couple athletes do the workout this morning. So here I do a Wednesday is we prep the workout, practice some skills, transitions, timing, go over standards for judging, and then I give people time to do it on Wednesday if they can't make Friday, because we do it typically Friday during the regular scheduled workout. So I've got everyone signed up for bullet point. We're going to do the bullet point workout, that type of thing. And then the members that didn't sign up or are just not interested in that kind of workout, I've got a different workout for them. So there's a lot going on. But I also build up to this by doing 8 weeks of either a CrossFit open workout or a bullet point workout. We don't do it necessarily for a score, but we practice judging, transitions, kind of getting down the flow of the workout. So when we get to the open, all of the members that are competitive and signed up for it, there's a fair amount of autonomy, and they kind of are directing themselves in the gym. So then I can just be wandering around, helping the newer members, helping the people that aren't signed up. So there's a lot going on. But yeah, we had a few do it this morning, and then I just quick run in and take pictures when they're all outside after the workout dying. So I've got lots of pictures in the Facebook group of people like flipping me off, not able to breathe, like crazy steam, because it was like 3 degrees this morning. So when 5 a.m. finished the workout and they went outside, there's just this crazy steam rolling off people. That's what I was there for. Somebody needs to catch that and, record it.
Yeah. So how many people did handstand walks versus handstand holds?
We have one member that was comfortable doing the walk, and she's and shout out Sarah, total beast. She's another beast mom, like just gets after it. 5 a.m. every day, 4 boys. Yeah, she's got her hands full. But no, she was doing handstand walks, and that's something she's been like busting her butt on all of last 2020 was getting comfortable upside down, being able to do that. So she had a couple misses where she had to restart. But similar to Mike, like signing up for the Open RX, even though she would qualify for Masters, she just wanted to test those skills, practice them, and see where she stacked up in the Open division. So we had one person. Everyone else did some variation of a wall walk or a kick up. So for everyone listening, 7-minute workout, handstands, walk or hold buy-in, and then 12 box jumps, 9 wall ball, 6 box jumps, 9 wall ball, 12 box jumps, and then 15 double unders or single unders. And step ups are an option, I believe, for every division. Correct, James? Yeah. Yeah. So people were hurting. They were hurting, but yeah, most of all of them but Sarah, I think, did handstand holds. What about in your gym, Abby?
We have quite a bit who can do the handstand walks. So on Friday, I'm expecting to see a lot doing the walks. I personally will not be walking. I'm inconsistent, and for me, it's not worth the panic. I also had wrist surgery 2 years ago that I haven't fully gotten back from. So for me, I'm going to use that hold. I know it's going to sound crazy, but I'm really going to use it to catch my breath. Because if I try to walk, I'm going to panic. I'm going to hold my breath. I'm going to spaz out. So it's not worth it to me. But man, I think the key is going to be transitions, right? It's a lot of short reps. So if you can nail down those transitions, I think that's going to be key.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. The big one in my gym is people rush that first wall ball rep and they get no rep, right? They pick it up. They're not hitting their squat depth. I had the silly question for this workout that I just kept yelling at people about was, well, I'm scaled, so I just have to squat to parallel, right? I'm like, if that's what you're focused on, you're going to be no reps so many times because your squat depth is going to be all over the place. Like the scaled squat depth standard is for those people, like that's the limit of their flexibility, right? Like that to them, that's squatting ass to grass, butt to heels. So I see, I know where you're coming from. You're like, oh, it'll be faster, but it's not, because you're having to like slow your body's natural movement down, where you're tired, you're breathing heavy, you got a bunch of lactic acid in your muscles. So for them, they were thinking about the minuscule transition time in a movement, and I'm like, no, squat where you're comfortable, trust your legs. The transition times between movements are what we need to be focusing on.
Mm-hmm. I'd be curious on everyone's thoughts on rebounding. So rebounding on the box jumps.
I think you can rebound, but if you have to stop rebounding, I wouldn't step down because that's a negative movement. So I think if you don't necessarily have to rebound, but you should jump down or at least come back off the box, because it's going to affect the wall balls. And I remember doing this the first time, and you're right, it's all about transitions, but I did step down one of the workouts, the first workout, because I thought it would save energy, and it made it so much worse. Yeah, so much worse. You would think it wouldn't, but if you have ankle problems, then you have to step down, or Achilles problems, where just landing on your toes is going to be better. You don't necessarily have to rebound, but you're not doing a negative step down. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I weigh 185 pounds, and the less I can not do a step down with 185 pounds, the better. So, yeah.
See, I'm the op. So I'm 215, 220, but I'm 6'2". So the negative step down for me is not a problem. Like I can get back on the box fairly quickly.
The inseam for you on a step down too isn't as big a deal, you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like for me, it's not as much of a stretch or as much time under tension. So I'm the opposite. Whereas a rebound, like doing 5 of those, I'm exhausted. Just like it's just so much extra energy to move the mass back up that quickly.
Move the mass.
And I was at the regionals where Julie Fouché popped her
Oh.
Achilles tendon. I saw
Yes.
that happen, and I can't unsee it. So ever since then, I think I might have rebound once. And as soon as I started doing it, I like vividly remember seeing that and be like, nope, I'm done. I'm stepping down.
I brought that up at my box the other night, and everyone, or the group of girls I was talking to, they looked at me and I'm like, "Do you know who Julie Fouché is?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, you guys, you make me feel so old. Come
Yep.
on." Gosh.
And then she
But
went
yeah,
out
that
and crushed the handstands and the snatch ladder in a boot.
Oh. Yeah, I'll never forget that.
Yep. Longhorn, did you are you planning on doing rebounding on your box jumps?
So I'm not very good at it, so I don't really have to make a decision about doing it or not doing it. But what I do use instead is kind of like I guess a less explosive sort of version of it, where I kind of land and it's sort of a rebound. I don't do a full like quarter squat and jump again. I just kind of rock back onto my heel just a little bit to kind of reset like the tension in my calves, and then jump again. So it's not a full like rebound, and it doesn't feel the strain on my calves and Achilles doesn't feel as bad. It's a little bit slower, but I can also maintain it for longer, and it just feels better. So, but for I am going to be walking this time because I can actually handstand walk now. It only took me several years, but so that's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to that. But what I'm really curious about, especially with all these coaches on the line, is, if you've got athletes who are doing it, especially if they're registered, and they're excited about it, maybe they want to do as best they can. What do you coach folks who are maybe starting to get a little bit of the handstand walk, maybe pressure of a competition, a little bit of adrenaline, they could probably walk a little ways. Do you coach them to give it a shot? Do you caution them away from it? And then secondly, like for folks who are not very comfortable being upside down, because especially for me as an adult, being inverted was super weird at first. My my brain would freak out, and I see it happen to other members too, and I totally sympathize. How do you coach people through that as well? I'm really curious.
On my case, I have the only guy that we have doing the competition this year. He started doing handstand walks maybe like a month ago, and every time he comes to the gym, he's trying to kill it. Like I said, I'm one of those persons that if it's not that great, I will tell you that looks fucking stupid. So for this workout, he's a pretty fit guy, and it's a good challenge. If you have handstands to do the 12-foot mark, I think it is, without falling once, you'll be fine. But it's only 7 minutes of work. So at least if you don't have the flow to go the 12-foot unbroken the whole time, every time you go, just one shot, go to the wall and do the handstand and hold. Like this guy, I'm going to try to get him just to do the handstand the handstand hold, because he's not pretty efficient in it. And like I said, it's only 7 minutes. And every time you come down from the handstand walks and try to go back up, that's a lot of energy you're going to be wasting on it.
Yeah.
You know? So if you're confident you can do them unbroken, and you can do all 3 or 4 tests of it in the 7 minutes, go for it. But if not, I would just say go up against the wall and do the handstands.
Yeah, I think it's really about knowing your athletes too. You know, because we have a handful who have also been, you know, working on them, but knowing, you know, kind of what they're capable of, and knowing kind of where they go in their own head, if they do trip up at all. You know, it's like what we've talked about, you know, with double unders. Do you panic, or can you collect yourself, and can you kick back up and do it? Is it someone who's going to, you know, kind of self-destruct when they fall one time? I mean, honestly, falling down one time, okay, fine, get back up and do it again. I mean, compared to the 15 seconds, I think one fall is equivalent to what it would take for the 15-second. So it's really about knowing what type of athlete your member is who is doing the bullet point, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And for those athletes that our the coaches know them better, and they think they know themselves better. When we warm up for something like this one's pretty straightforward. It's 15 seconds, right? Or a 12-foot handstand walk, which this year we're starting behind the line. That takes 4 seconds. But Abby's right. If you fall down, that could be 15 to 20 seconds, because then you also probably staged your jump rope on the other end of the line, which then you have to go get. So I just set it up beforehand. I'm like, hey, let's just do a 15-second handstand hold, and then let's see how fast you can walk fresh. Because if you can't do it now, it's not happening in the WOD.
Gonna get tough.
Yeah, it's not going to get better. So I like proving people wrong, and that's how I would do it. And if somebody proves me wrong, I'm like, sweet, you go smoke it. You're going to smoke. You just saved 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So good job.
Yeah.
I like it. Mike, real quick, what does this workout look like for you?
For me, will be a overhead hold of a dumbbell, 50-pound dumbbell. And then I can do wall balls, and I can do box jumps to a 12-inch box. And I have a specially designed jump rope to be able to jump with one arm.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think, Chad is doing the same thing. He's holding up the dumbbell. And I think he mentioned he also has a jump rope he can use. So pretty much we'll be doing all of the movements like it is. And then for me, it will be just the height of the box. That would be the only thing. But on this one, it's a challenge for me because I can do box jumps to that box, and it's pretty taxing on my leg. But I do want to do it because it's the bullet point. You know, it's one of those times where I'm going to be like, I'm trying to go all out and then just rest, like last week.
Yeah. How do you set up for safety measures, like for something like box jumps? Because remind me, your right side, you don't have.
I do have, my whole body works just on the right side.
Let's say right side is what works.
So I place the box right next to the one of the poles on the rig.
Okay.
So if I'm gonna fall, I can grab onto that.
That's
pole.
what I was wondering. Okay.
Yes, and don't fall. But I still get my shins onto the box once in a while. So that hurts. But other than that, I can hit the wall balls to the 10-foot mark, and I can squat below parallel and all that. So I'm excited for this workout. I am.
Is this your favorite out of all of them this year?
Yes, because I think it would be the less painful one. The app for the aftermath. Like I hated like that deadlifts and burpees. I hated, and I couldn't do the it's a trap because then my hand would be useless. So I'm gonna enjoy this one big time.
Good.
Sweet. I like it. Did everyone leave review on the workout then? Tips and tricks, transitions.
Fast. This workout goes fast. I remember doing it and thinking it could have been a 15-minute AMRAP.
Yeah.
So you're gonna like the leg pain is really short-lived. When you get done, you're like, oh man, I could have gone way harder. So Abby, don't do that because you don't have to redo it then. So just
I
go.
know. You guys. I'm making this. Oh, this. I'm only gonna do it once. I'm not allowing myself to redo it. So.
Go ham. Go ham. The last time I did this, I had it all laid out so I could only do it once because I'm like, seems pretty straightforward. And then we got done, and my wife's like, why, when you were jumping up on the box, were you moving your feet forward? I'm like, what are you talking about? So I shuffled forward. She's like, you wasted at least a second every time on the box. And I'm like, so then I practiced. I had done that forever. And then I practiced that week and I did do it again. And it was crazy. It saved me an enormous amount of time by just not jumping up, shuffling my feet. It's because I don't like I like my whole foot on the box when I do it. It feels like a good rep. But it doesn't matter if your whole foot is on the box. So
Right.
that's my tip is go fast.
Good to know. Yeah.
Living on the edge.
Yes. Right on the edge of the box.
Literally the edge.
Okay. So what about Longhorn's question about getting inverted? People who are getting comfortable. Honestly,
Yeah.
like I like to have people do kind of like a tuck back roll. I mean, not an actual like flip, but where you just it's almost like a hollow rock, right?
Mhm.
Or not a hollow, a hollow rock.
Yep.
You know, but then you tuck and then you kind of roll a little bit further back just to get like, you know, it helps with the vestibular a little bit, you know, and same with doing like somersaults, which, you know, so we took myself and two of my coaches, we went down and we took CrossFit Kids certification, and that, you know, just helped teach a lot about, you know, getting comfortable with the, you know, starting off with just basic forward rolls and then you know, tripods. And so I still, even today, like now that I'm trying to become a gymnast that I've never been able to do in CrossFit. You know, so I'm going back to the basics where you just get in a tripod, right? I mean, they do that in yoga too, you know, so head down, you know, the more the forehead, top of the head kind of thing, you know, and then your two hands, you know, you can even start on your elbows and then, you know, put your knees up on your elbows, you know, so that way you're still kind of in a tucked position, you know, so you're not fully inverted. You know, and then, you know, you can do a headstand from there, you know, work your way over to the kick up. But I love having people just, you know, find a place like donkey kicks, you know, so you find, you know, you put your hands up and you just kick a little bit. You don't try to kick straight up. You just kick off to like a 45, you know, just so they kind of get used to the motion of kicking up and then like how your brain and your sight and everything feels, you know, just from the kick up, but all sorts of, I mean, that's just all the kind of different progressions that I personally like to use when someone's starting to learn, or when they come to me with concerns of, hey, I just get really dizzy, or I'm really panicky, or so those are my go-tos.
I like it. Yeah, I was really thinking about that this week because I thought about how long it's taken me to figure out how to handstand walk or how to sort of beat the positioning into my body, basically. So I didn't really learn. I just kind of beat it into myself, which is usually my tactic.
Muscle memory, right?
Yeah. And I was going over a hold against the wall, face out, with an athlete this week, and you know, going over sort of the usual like performance points, but she kept, like, she had to look at the ground, like, and I was like, all right, I think, you know, I can start at the top and work our way down. But right now you're staring at the ground. Just look forward. Let your head come forward and just look at the back of the room over there. And she was like, ah,
Yeah.
you know, just like, whoa. And then she freaked out and came down. And I was like, wow. I remember feeling the exact same way, you know, the first few times I tried to go upside down. So it's just such a visceral reaction for folks. I was like, man, I really don't know how you'd get someone.
One thing you can try it also is have that person lay down on a bench on their back with their head hanging at the end of the bench. And leave them there for about 15, 20 seconds at a time. And they're going to get used to that way of on a safe place to get used to being inverted. So that's also something else they can try.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Did her arms go wet noodle once she panicked?
She had everything was stacked pretty good. So,
Okay.
she just freaked out and just came down. Yeah.
For whatever reason, I think part of it might be people that rush themselves, but when they panic and they're upside down, I've seen it quite a few people where they like their arms just like give out. You know, you're like, why would you do that? That's the only thing holding you upright. But
Yeah.
I had a lady break her glasses doing that. Like you said, it's like why your hands are holding you up. She went right down your face.
Why would you let those go?
But you know, it's so funny, like you say that, but like I remember first learning, you know, and all the time I spent practicing, I remember times like having to mentally, with a lot of intention, focus on keeping my arms locked. Or, you know, not completely locked, but you know what I mean, maintaining tension.
Yep.
And I'm like, why am I having to consciously think about that? It's supporting my entire body right now.
Should be a survival mechanism.
Right. But it's just a lot of rewiring, you know.
Yeah. So to repeat, I mean, the rewiring is the perfect way to look at it. Repeating what Abby was saying is the fundamentals of rolling, stacked shoulders is where I typically start, and you can carry that to any gymnastics movement. Is the fundamentals, making and starting there every time we work on skills, but then making it on the athlete. So when they're comfortable with the movement, the rolling, stacking the shoulders, being, you know, they're going to then ask for the next thing, because I've seen the best follow through with that, with people who were rolling their eyes at handstands in the beginning, right? When the one athlete kicks up, they can do a handstand, and the other athlete's like, that's dumb. I would never want to be able to do that. And then 2-3 weeks in, they're asking you for the next progression because they can see it. They see it's attainable. So biggest thing I can tell people is just don't rush it. Like you start rushing it, you're going to, you know, worst case scenario, injure yourself because you're going to be doing something where you really shouldn't be there. But you're going to appreciate it more. All the little wins that lead up to it, it's addicting for people. And then the next thing you know, they're potentially chasing even the handstand walk or handstand push-ups. But yeah, really, it's just not rushing the process because it takes time.
Love it.
James, what about yourself? You're a little. I've worked out with you. You're a spider monkey out there with the gymnastics.
I love gymnastics. I start where Abby does too, and like what you said though, like if you jump too far ahead, you can hurt somebody, or they might not get hurt, but you can hurt their like mental pattern, and then they're just not going to want to do it again. And it could take them years to get over that. They could be members at your gym for 4 years, and day one they did a bad handstand something. You know, you made them do. They should be doing a tripod or tipping their head back. They went up on their hands, and one hand went out, and they smashed their face, and they don't want to do handstands anymore. So, yeah, I love gymnastics. For me, actually, the feeling of going upside down and just completely redlining your upper body, I don't think you can replicate it on anything but handstand walks. So that's my favorite actual feeling in the gym. If you could take away every movement, I would ask for handstand walks, and that would be it. Because it just, yeah. I've gotten more fit handstand walking than I have doing all sorts of other stuff. So that's just my personal input. But we take it slow. We take it really,
Especially
really
burpees, I bet.
yeah.
I'd rather handstand walk than do burpees.
Come
Yeah.
on, burpees any day.
Oh, I love it. The big takeaway is take it slow. You got
Yeah.
that, Texas Mike? You taking notes?
Take
I
it
got
slow.
him down, man.
Oh, boy. Well, we hit an hour. Does anybody have any concluding thoughts they want to wrap this show up with? And then we'll see everybody back next week for expectations in the leaderboard.
Be smart,
Yeah,
go hard.
Be smart, go hard. Abby, what did you say?
I just said that I'm excited about the conversation next week.
Sweet. James?
I go fast. Go
There you go.
fast.
I was gonna say
Don't
you've got the
mess up
best.
your shins. Don't mess up your shins.
Longhorn, you got any final thoughts, questions while you've got the cohort of coaches in front of you?
Yeah, I just thanks for the feedback. I think it's all really interesting, and looking forward to going hard at the Pulp Minion this week. See how it goes.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. Smooth.
Thanks.
Wait, slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, kind of. I mean, this one really, like, you got to go fast.
But also
transition.
fast.
But also-
Smooth transition. Yeah.
Smooth, but
Yeah.
also move fast. Awesome.
Yes.
Thanks, peeps.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Sweet.